And today we are going to deal with replacing, drumroll please, the really bad cruise control switch. So this is a replacement one that I got from a buddy of mine in the Toronto area who very graciously invited me to join his Mercedes WhatsApp chat group. So shout out to Daniel, that's really cool. I bought a jack for the car last week, and I asked him if he had a cruise control stock, and he had an entire assembly. Now, it's an assembly from a W124. It's the same thing. A lot of the 126 and 124 components are apparently, and I say apparently because I can't speak with authority, but I did check this one out. They are interchangeable, which is super handy. So in order to do this repair, I've gone ahead and done a few things. First, disconnect the positive battery so I could safely remove the airbag. So I've gone ahead and done that. The airbag is sitting outside of the vehicle with the airbag cover facing up. The steering wheel has already come off. It's a 10mm Allen bolt, so that's cool. I locked the steering wheel ignition so the wheel wasn't going to move on me, and I know the direction it was pointing at. And, you know, if it's off a little bit, I'll just take the wheel off and correct it, but not a problem. So this is what we are left with. So we've got the clock spring mechanism. Now check out the turn signal stock is just totally wonky. I tried activating it, and you know, the cruise control actually it engaged, but it was very difficult to engage, and it would not disengage with the stock. Of course, you tap the brakes and it disengages, so it's fine, but it has come on mysteriously by itself. Now, thankfully, we're dealing with a 177 horsepower straight six and not a 604 horsepower twin turbo V8 AMG motor, which would scare the bejesus out of me if it just went flat out by itself. So what we're going to do is get rid of the knee bolster under the dash, and there should be one more cover beneath that, directly, you know, above the pedals, and then we should be able to disconnect the cruise control. And I'm going to go ahead and replace the turn signal stock with a more current one. The pictographs on the turn signal stock from, you know, this donor car part are a little bit better shape. Funnily enough, they are starting to wear in exactly the same spot, but they are clearer. And the cruise control stock, the lettering is just about perfect. So it will give a nice little cosmetic touch up to the entire thing, which I'm kind of excited about. It's always cool when you can make the car look just a little bit better. And when you start shaving off those things, it just takes so much time off. Oh, by the way, before we get back into this, I did also replace the HVAC control module. You'll be happy to know the lights work. So that's nice. I've got a fully lit up dash again. The controls work very nicely, so I'm in good shape there. I'm debating whether or not to get an NOS thumb wheel that has the sticker in good shape, but we'll see about that. There are some other more serious fish to fry, but that's on my radar. So okay, we're getting serious here as we continue the disassembly. I want to show you something. This cross-car air duct is a little stubborn. You got to take out two screws that position the outlet vent at the end. You've got to remove that, pull this vent out, and through here, you can see where I'm sort of poking, there is either a 10mm bolt to take out, or if you can't reach that, if you don't have the socket combinations, there's a 10mm perpendicular that actually mounts to the cross car beam. That's what I pulled, and I've lowered this vent enough that I can feed the wire through and sort of see where everything's going. It would be much easier if I could remove it. I just don't think it's in the cards right now. There's probably a bolt hiding somewhere. I unfortunately just can't see it. But I do know somebody's been in this before. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily. Everything, you know, functionally is working other than the cruise control stock, but there was a bolt missing at the end of this cross car air duct. So I'm going to find one. I'm sure I've got one in my ever-growing pile of spare parts, and we'll get that in. Now, 3 small Phillips screws hold that, and there are 3 Phillips screws here. Take note, The one at the top at your 12 o'clock position is a longer screw. Make sure that goes back in the right order. So next up, we're going to disconnect the two wiring harnesses, one for the multifunction turn signal stock and the other for the cruise, feed them out, and feed the new one back in. Stay tuned. Okay, moving right along. We got the old switch out, and I decided to leave, bear with me a sec, the airbag connection in. It's actually a whole heck of a lot easier, or to some degree, it's one less wire to disconnect. Likewise with the power steering column. So we're just going to feed through the connectors from the new one, and we have to very carefully route the wire for the airbag connector. I assume that's what it is. I think that's what it is. It's a light blue wire on this car. We have to feed this into the mechanism that holds the wires and, you know, where the switches are mounted to. Not too difficult. There's a little plastic clip that holds the wires. Just be careful taking it out and you shouldn't have any problem. Then we can start buttoning this thing up. And let me tell you, that cross-car air duct, that is going to be a royal pain to reinstall. It should not be as difficult as it is, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes on these old cars. At any rate, we're going to keep at it. Okay, so it looks like we had success. I lost daylight, so I'm filming inside. That cross-car air duct underneath, or behind rather, the driver's side knee bolster, that was a bugger. Not only to take out, but to put back in. And I did notice a couple bolts were missing, so later when I've got time and daylight, I'm going to go in and finish bolting it in, and also search for a couple of the bolts that bolt the knee bolster from underneath, and you know, that little access panel that covers up the pedal cluster and the connections and whatnot. That's got to be bolted into that cross-car air duct. Those bolts are missing. I'll find them. It's not a big deal. But I did a quick test, and the turn signal stock, everything seems to be functioning on that. So the wipers, the high beams, you know, we're good there. The blinkers, the whole works. And we're going to take it for a little test drive this evening, and we will do a test of the cruise control. But for now, I have to go record a podcast for my plastics business. Thankfully not a video podcast, because I am sweaty and I'm feeling kind of disheveled right now. So luckily audio only, and once that's done, we'll take the car for a quick test drive and confirm that the cruise control is doing what it's supposed to. I think it will. The stock that I took out, which is this guy right here, I did have a little bit of contact, enough to get the cruise control working. So the computer that drives it, and the underhood assembly that, you know, pulls the throttle and holds it, that's all working. And that's great, because I think that would cost probably more money to try and sort out and, you know, replace parts. And you're throwing parts at it because you may or may not know how to diagnose it. But I'm pretty convinced this is going to look after it. So unless you hear from me, consider cruise control done. Consider this episode done. Thanks so much for tuning in. We did so many little jobs on that car. I feel really, really good about it. More parts coming. We'll walk you through whatever comes in. Do have a stereo on order. We're going to try and get that revived. I think it's just the faceplate. But if the faceplate doesn't rectify things, well, I'll have a stereo too. So we'll do a swap. And then after that, there's not too much major left for this season. Next season, we'll get into doing a few more things. I may try and take the air cleaner off, not a big deal, but clean and adjust the throttle linkage just to see if, you know, maybe I'm leaving a few ponies on the table due to slack in the linkage, and we want to address that. All right, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Be good. Bye-bye.